They got into more and more of an argument about each other's relationships, taking digs at each other's relationships. And the truth is, both of their relationships kind of suck. What is up, everybody? Happy Friday. Wish I had a better episode to talk about. In fact, I almost didn't record a review today because I don't have much to talk about. It's tough when there are three rough episodes in a row, which is what this week has become. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. All pretty bad episodes, or at least boring episodes. Today, I had a hard time watching. Like, I honestly didn't even connect with many stories today that made me want to pay attention. So this will be one of my quicker reviews to get through. Nicole and Ted started today's episode talking about Anita going public with her cancer and Ted not realizing she was going to do that. And Nicole had to tell him he's not in the inner circle anymore, so he's not going to hear that news before it happens. Nicole wanted to talk about the anniversary of Laura's accident. And Ted is worried that this is going to continue to set Kat off, but he's wondering if Kat is getting set off because of Laura's accident or because of her anger towards Leslie and Eva with all of the affair drama last year. It feels like the show is dredging all of this up to, maybe either make Kat and Leslie and Eva on a collision course, or Leslie finally gets to pay for what she did to Laura. I'm assuming that maybe somehow that information that Joey has on Leslie is evidence that she was a part of the Laura thing. That would be my guess with the Leslie and Joey drama. I hope sooner rather than later this story goes somewhere. It has been a year. Let's do something, because watching Leslie these past few episodes has been extremely obnoxious. She has become such a one-note clown character. Instead of being a villain, I would love her to be a villain. I would even love her to be just some sort of better antagonist to some of these characters, but her just walking around trying to annoy people and being a clown is very one note. And she's basically a cartoon at this point, but it's not even like a cartoon villain. They've done a really bad job with Leslie as of late, to say the least. Nicole eventually went to go see the failed character that is Vanessa. There's a trend of characters failing lately. And I'm going to say this again. I don't care. I feel like the influx of new characters has been good. The new characters, most of them, are way more interesting than a lot of the older characters from last year. Way more better acting than some of the actors from last year. But the show refuses to cut dead weight, which would maybe make more airtime for more interesting characters. But instead, we're still stuck with Vanessa, and Vanessa trying to turn Nicole into Vanessa 2.0 and embrace her sexual freedom, which I'm all for with Nicole. But then Nicole's talking about how Carlton turned her down to go see the play the other day. Nicole was disappointed and is thinking he's seeing someone else. Nicole admitted she likes being shared, but not sharing, and that she wants both Carlton and Kyle. And I mean, that's fine, but this conversation between Nicole and Vanessa was not exactly interesting, and Nicole becoming Vanessa 2.0 is not a good thing. Where we left off from yesterday was Kat getting into it with Leslie and Eva about how she will make them pay for what they did to Laura. Leslie was still talking a lot of shit about how Ted wanted her and not Nicole, which was upsetting Kat even more. Kat called Leslie a homicidal maniac, and she called Eva a hood rat. And Eva was trying to calm both of them down, but Kat was upset and leaving and ran into Izaiah coming in. And Kat told Izaiah, "I warned you, when it blows up in your face, don't come to me," as if Izaiah would come to Kat out of everyone. I didn't really understand that. So they continued to make Kat obsessed with the Leslie and Eva thing, which I do understand why she would want Leslie to be taken down, why she would want Eva to be taken down, not only for what they did to Laura, but what they did to her parents' marriage and her family. I get it. But it doesn't mean it's good TV. Kat being obsessed with this still has been so redundant for months now. And it's not great. Anyway, Izaiah got to hear more about the Leslie and Eva drama. Leslie was being a big old cartoon again, and these scenes being hella extra with Izaiah, and even coming on to him at one point. Once again, I assume this was the show trying to play it for laughs, but it's just becoming one big eye roll with a lot of these Leslie scenes this past week. The Leslie stuff has been so over the top this week. I want to think that maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe Leslie is going to become more over the top and more extreme, and then finally have a downfall. But with as slow as some of these stories move on the show, I can't be confident in that. Anyway, Izaiah and Eva had some good talks, and Izaiah still wants to be with Eva, even if there are things that she thinks will scare him away. He's not going to be scared away right now, although he did imply that he hopes that Eva doesn't do stuff like her mother. And then Eva flashed back to the time when she learned that her mom was indeed responsible for the hit and run on Laura. So Eva still has guilt for that, and Eva will probably have a downfall for that too, along with her mother. But when that time may come, who knows? Then we had more Leslie, because she's been a gnat this entire week. She went to go visit Ted and was taking digs on Nicole for being open for business with her love life, basically implying that Nicole's being a whore lately. And then Leslie is trying to get Ted to look into Izaiah to make sure that he's good for their daughter. And by the end of the episode, Ted called Izaiah wanting to meet with him. And then Leslie ran into Nicole at the hospital, and they got into it, and Leslie called her Naughty Nikki. I do like Leslie's nickname for people. I'll give Leslie that. I just want Leslie to be she doesn't even have to be a super serious character, but she can't just be a one-note cartoon. That is not working, writers. It is failing miserably. Kat went to go talk to Chelsea to let her know that she's going to move out, although at first she was having yet another rant about Eva and Leslie, which Chelsea did not want to hear, which I totally understand, because if I was related to Kat or friends with Kat and that was all she talked about, I would never want to talk to her, because it does get old. So I understood Chelsea's point of view, but their conversation really devolved with them taking digs at each other. They argued about how Chelsea was leaving to Copenhagen despite the Chelsea Kat business, or that Chelsea was just going to up and leaving Kat behind with the business, and despite living with Kat. So now Kat thinks Chelsea has no reason to be upset that she's going to move out. Chelsea thinks that Kat is not moving out to move out. She's moving out to punish Chelsea. They got into more and more of an argument about each other's relationships, taking digs at each other's relationships. And the truth is, both of their relationships kind of suck. So I guess the digs were necessary. And then the only other story on today was Naomi and Smitty and Martin's old friend Monica, who is an oncologist who deals with cancer. Smitty got called away by Martin, so her and the two women, Naomi and Monica, were able to talk about cancer and talk about the hard parts of cancer and people wondering if the cancer will be their fate too. This was a nod to Naomi's storyline about having the cancer gene. I mean, the scenes were fine, but like, I'm not invested in Naomi's cancer gene storyline, because what are they going to do? Have another cancer storyline right after Anita? I doubt it. Smitty, however, was talking to Monica about how he is worried for Naomi because of Naomi's husband being not around lately, doing that undercover work. I really hope that they can make the Jacob undercover stuff with the Impaler more interesting than what they have so far, because I feel like the show desperately needs it to be more interesting because the rest of the show is struggling. And I get a lot of comments like they need to wrap up the Bill and Haley storyline. And I don't disagree. I wish this show would climax a story. But the truth is, they can't climax the Bill and Haley storyline right now because it's all they have. It's all they have. The rest of these stories are struggling. So that's how I feel. I think that is the facts. The rest of the storylines right now are struggling. So I understand why they are taking their sweet precious time with the Haley and Bill stuff. It's unfortunate that February sweeps has ended on a rough note because I felt like they were building at least some momentum. Far from perfect, but some momentum. But looking back at it, the past 4 months, the Bill and Haley stuff is carrying the show along with the quad triangle with Andre and Danny too, even though that kind of took a back seat this month, at least towards the second half of the month. Next week kind of looks like more of the same, which I don't know if that's a great thing, but yeah, I'll talk about it on Sunday. That was today's episode, a rough few episodes to end the week, sadly.